Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old black man and a Michael Jackson impersonator, died on Monday after being choked by a rider on the New York City subway. The incident occurred on an F train in Soho, where Neely was acting erratically and yelling about his lack of food and drink. A 24-year-old former U.S. Marine held Neely down with his legs wrapped around his body and squeezed his neck for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Neely lost consciousness and was taken to the hospital, where he died from compression of the neck. The police and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are investigating the case, but have not charged the veteran yet. The incident sparked strong reactions from New Yorkers and officials, some of whom condemned the chokehold and others who defended the Marine veteran's actions. Harlan Crow, a Republican megadonor, paid more than $6,000 a month for the grandnephew of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to attend a private boarding school, according to a report by ProPublica. The payment was not reported by Thomas on his annual financial disclosures, as required by law. Thomas said he was raising him as a son and that the tuition was not reportable because it covered nephews. The revelation added to the ethics concerns over Thomas and Crow, who have been accused of paying for lavish trips, private jet travel, and 3 Georgia properties for the justice and his family, without disclosing them on their forms. The Supreme Court and Thomas are under heightened scrutiny from Congress and outside groups over their disclosure practices. Russia accused the United States of being behind a drone attack on the Kremlin on Thursday, aiming to kill President Vladimir Putin. The attack was part of a war between Russia and Ukraine, which has been escalating since Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. Ukraine and its allies have been preparing for a counteroffensive against the Russian forces, which have been shelling, firing drones, and raiding cities in eastern Ukraine. The attack caused casualties and damage in several locations, including a university, a capital city, and an oil refinery. The leaders of both countries expressed their determination to end the conflict and seek justice, while the Vatican said it was considering ways to broker a peace deal. The article also reported on the economic and diplomatic developments in the region, such as the U.S. military aid for Ukraine, the Pope's possible role, and the Russian-U.S. joint venture's withdrawal from a gas turbine project. Snoop Dogg, a rap legend and a brand ambassador, announced on Monday that he was joining an ownership group that is bidding for the NHL's Ottawa Senators. He said he wanted to bring hockey to the black community and create a Snoop Youth Hockey League outside of Canada. He also said he was a longtime fan of the NHL and wanted to be part of a majority ownership group with people of color. His bid is big for the NHL, which is seen as a white sport that is not very popular among black people. He hopes to change this perception and grow the sport by introducing more black kids to hockey as an option. He also said he wanted to grow the sport as a black owner and make history. Explosives have been found inside Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Europe's biggest, and seized by Russian forces in Ukraine. The plant, operated by Ukrainian staff and Rosatom, is located near the site of the 1986 Chernobyl disaster and has been the target of shelling and fighting between the two sides. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, which monitors the plant's safety, said that the explosives were placed in the turbine hall of the 4th reactor, but the IAEA denied that it reported that to Ukraine. The discovery poses a serious threat to the plant's staff and residents, as well as the possibility of a nuclear disaster in Ukraine. Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, and 3 of his lieutenants were found guilty of seditious conspiracy for their role in the January 6 Capitol attack. Prosecutors said Tarrio planned the plot and motivated the other Proud Boys to stop the election certification. Tarrio's attorneys argued that he was a scapegoat for former President Donald Trump, who incited the violence. The jury also convicted the defendants of obstructing an official proceeding, conspiring to prevent an officer from discharging their duties, obstruction of law enforcement, and destruction of government property. The jury was still deliberating on whether they were guilty of assaulting, resisting, and impeding certain officers. The trial, which lasted 15 weeks, faced delays, disputes, and bad luck. The convictions bolster the Justice Department's account that the attack endangered American law and order and earn its 10th conviction out of 14 sedition cases. Google has introduced a blue checkmark verification for its email service, Gmail, to enhance email security and trust. The blue checkmark shows that the sender owns the specified domain and can be verified by hovering over it. It is based on the brand indicators for message identification technology, which also allows users to use a validated company logo instead of a Gmail avatar. The verification is only available to domain owners who have adopted BME, and not to regular @gmail.com account holders. The verification is already rolling out and will benefit users and email security systems by identifying and stopping spam, phishing attacks, and other scams. However, Internet users are also advised to remain vigilant and not rely on single measures and to check out the best productivity apps to try today. Donald Trump, the former U.S. president, lost his lawsuit against the New York Times and his niece, Mary Trump, who exposed his tax issues in a Pulitzer Prize-winning story. A New York Supreme Court judge dismissed the $100 million lawsuit, saying Trump's claims of breach of contract and defamation failed as a matter of constitutional law. The judge also ordered Trump to pay the Times' legal fees and costs. Trump's lawsuit accused the Times and his niece of working together on an insidious plot to violate a 2001 confidentiality agreement. The Times and Mary Trump's attorney said they were pleased with the decision and confident of their First Amendment rights. Trump has threatened to sue news organizations for decades, but has faced many legal setbacks. Shopify, an e-commerce platform, announced on Thursday that it would cut 20% of its staff and sell most of its logistics business to Flexport, a supply chain technology company. The decision was driven by slow post-pandemic growth, imminent layoffs, and unhealthy management culture. Shopify would sell its logistics divisions, Deliver and 6 River Systems, for a 13% equity stake in Flexport, and also sell its warehouses to Flexport for a high-teen stake. Shopify's CEO, Toby Lutke, said the decision was right but hard and that the company would focus on outcomes and impact instead of activities. Shopify had previously laid off 1,000 people in 2022 and made several changes in its upper ranks, such as replacing its CTO and CFO.
Thank you for watching. Please support our efforts by liking and sharing the videos. Don't forget to subscribe to get our regular updates.